What's going on, Jerome's? So, being a Minnesota Vikings fan, it is always a freaking adventure, right? So, every single week, and ooh, so we've talked about this before. Historically, the Lions have been very bad. Historically, the Jets have been very bad, aside from Super Bowl three. Historically, I mean, the Bengals were really bad for a long time in the 90s after they lost two Super Bowls. The Browns have been historically bad in the Super Bowl era. And we've said this before. It would almost be better if, what's up, Sylvie? If the Vikings were just bad all the time, right? So, especially, the Giants, I think, have been the worst team in the NFL since 2011. But it would almost be better if you had lowered expectations and every single week. I mean, the football game is like, hey, let's just keep it close. Hey, let's just tank. Hey, who are we going to draft up high? Who we're going to ruin? And all of that. But the Vikings are different. The Vikings are different because they will get your hopes up and they will crush you. And we've seen that. I mean, last year, 13-4, wanting some more, losing in the wild card round, not because of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins played a hell of a game, by the way, but because the Dinosaur defense gave up 431 yards and 31 points to Daniel freaking Jones. And this year, starting out 0-3, 1-4, oh, here we go again. Head should roll. And in a weird way, the team was getting back on course, and then you lost JJ against the Chiefs, and then you lost Kirk Cousins against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, and you're like, okay, this season is going to be a wash. Whatever happens, happens. And then all of a sudden, without JJ, they win 5 in a row. Without Kirk, they win 2 in a row. But then they hit some choppy water, and the part of the schedule where we're saying like, hey, the Vikings could rack up and stack up some wins. All of a sudden, not so much. So losing the close game against the Broncos, losing the close game against the Bears, which still bothers me. Beating the Raiders 3-0, cool. And then losing to the Bengals in overtime, where Jake friggin' Browning arm punts a couple of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Fully understand that, right? So even at 7-7. Vikings still currently in the 6th seed, and they still control their own destiny to a large degree to make the playoffs, and it sort of is what it is. But again, it's so frustrating because, I mean, when the Vikings, man, when the Vikings were 6-4, want some more, you're feeling really damn good. Oh, the Pastronaut, let's go. But then, I mean, the Vikings' last 3 losses have been by a combined 6 points, which again is just uber frustrating. And I know that a lot of fans that Bengals loss really took the wind out of their sails. And this has been a season where there's been a lot of disappointments, a lot of letdowns, a lot of giving the games away, a lot of injuries have been going on. And frankly, I mean, yes, there's a little bit of puck luck that goes into a football season. The Vikings got some of it last year, not so much this year. But I feel like a lot of Vikings fans have sort of jumped off the bandwagon. I don't know if it's seasonal depression. I mean, we haven't had snow yet. It hasn't even been that cold, man, in the great state of Minnesota. But I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Like, hey, I don't care. I love it. I don't care that the Lions absolutely smoked the Broncos at home on Saturday night. Don't care. Do not care about that. I don't care how many awesome quotes, Dan Campbell could put out there. I don't care how many kneecaps Dan Campbell is going to bite. I don't care how many head coaching jobs that Ben Johnson is going to get next year. Is he going to be a head coach of 7 different teams? Sure. I don't care about Jameson Williams. I don't care about Amon-Ra. I respect him, but I don't care. I don't care that the Lions got Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Branch, who I loved a lot, man. Zero. Give zero poops about what's going on there, because the Vikings on Christmas Eve, the whiteout, that's right, are completely going to snow out and have a blizzard on the Lions' Christmas Eve plans, because the Vikings, guess what? We're at home. Going to be loud and proud. And the Lions, hey, the Lions can clinch the NFC North with a win on Sunday, but they ain't going to get it. You never get this. That's right. And the Vikings can win the division if they sweep the Lions week 16 and 18, and the Lions lose at Dallas week 17, which Dallas playing at home are much better than they are on the road, as evidenced by the Buffalo and the San Francisco games. But, I mean, the Lions, again, the media already anointed the Lions Super Bowl champions before the year, so why did we even play the games? That's the whole thing, too. Like, the Vikings, yes, they're 3-point dogs at home. Yes, the public is back on the Lions, although they forget that the Lions lost to the Bears. in more embarrassing fashion than the Vikings, by the way. The Vikings lost by 2 points, and the Lions lost by what, 15? The Lions also lost to the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers. The Lions also should have lost at home against the Bears, except the Bears remembered that they're the crooked Chicago Bears and blew a 12-point lead with 4 minutes to go and lost by 5. And the Lions, the Lions have proven time and time again that they are fraudulent. How'd that Ravens game go? And say what you will about the Vikings, is that they have not gotten their asses kicked. They've been in every single game. All 7 of their losses have been by a single score. All 7 of their losses, beep, bop, 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 boop. One thing goes their way, or they don't turn over the ball, or whatever. They win those games. And that does have some merit, where the Vikings, you got to be in close games to win close games, but sometimes you lose. The Vikings didn't last year. But I fully expect US Bank Stadium to be whited out. The Lions are going to be blinded by the white. That's right, man. And Hawkinson revenge game narratives going to be going on again. I think he's going to have himself a big time game. Nick Mullins, hopefully he can reduce the stupid in his game, maximize the good parts. Addison had a bust out game against the Bengals. You know that JJ wants to get into the end zone. I think the Vikings are going to feast. I think it's going to be glorious. Getting to 8-7, oh thank heaven. And the Vikings are going to whip somebody's ass, and it's going to be the Lions. Because guess what? Vikings' next 2 games are at home against division rivals and with the playoffs on the line. The Vikings are currently about 50% to make the playoffs in a lot of the simulators. They move up to around 99%. How can the Vikings lose a 99%er? If and when they do beat the Lions and the Packers week 16 and 17 respectively. So I understand that we're the overly positive guy, and I understand that our channel probably would get more views if I was negative, because that's what sells nowadays, but I don't care. I don't care, man. Like, hey, the Vikings could be 0-16, head into the final week, and I think that the Vikings could get a win. Hell, they could have me at quarterback with 10 guys from like the 1934 Canton Bulldogs, if they're still with us, hopefully. And I think that we could probably put up, 30 points on the 2000 Ravens defense. Bring it on, man. Bring it on, because so this is Christmas. And what have you done? And it's going to be a fantastic night for the Vikings. They're going to whip some ass. They're going to give the Vikings fans a great Christmas present. Going to move to 8-7, keep the NFC North Division alive, make a big time statement for the playoff placing, and just go from there. I'm fired up, man, because the Vikings, Ty Chandler, Daniil Hunter, Metellus, Beasley, Caleb Evans, Jordan Hicks is coming back, Ivan Pace Jr. We're going to whip somebody's ass. That's right, baby. That's right. But your thoughts are thoughts. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol.